All right, we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. This is Monday, December 16th, 2024. This is a special meeting, a special regular meeting of the Cabell County Board of Education. I would ask that you would please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start this evening with our special celebrations.
President Pauly, we have a little bit of a change up here this evening. Our First Lady, Stephanie Meadows, was unable to be here with us.
Okay.
And so I'm going to step down front and take over the second part on celebrating our service of some of our employees.
Okay, thank you so much. So we'll wait on Mr. Hardesty.
So President Pauly, board members, Ms. Hornbuckle-Myers, we've worked together a long time. I keep forgetting our last name, and I apologize. It gives me great honor this evening to have the opportunity to do something we have not done too often in the past, and I think it's something that we need to start doing, and I'm thankful that you're all allowing us to do this evening. But we have several people that are retiring or have retired and are retiring on the last couple of meetings. And what I want to do is take just a pause and thank them for their service. And we're going to try to, hopefully this goes well, and we're going to try to go back, anyone that's retired this year so far, get them brought in so we can recognize them in January and start moving forward as we have retirements. The reason for that is these people have given years and years of their lives for our students and our communities, and we just need to thank them for that. We have 11 people this evening that we want to recognize. And the amazing thing is I added up all of their time spent in service, 267 and a half years. And so I think that's amazing, and I just wanted to say thank you. So first up, we have Miss Kelly Jordan. Miss Kelly Jordan has 33 years experience. She is currently the principal of Village of Bartlesville Elementary, and she began that job in 2015-2016. Kelly, you want to come up? Drew wouldn't let me buy you a gold watch, so I do have this.
I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity to work in Cabell County. It is the best county in West Virginia, and we have lots and lots of good employees. So thank you, and it's been my honor to serve our students.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Brenda Horn with 42 years experience. Brenda Horn started as an administrator in 2005-2006, and beginning in the 06-07 school year, became principal at Heights Saunders, and is retiring from that now. Thank you so much.
It's been fun. Thank you very much. Short and sweet.
Our next person is Tracy Ryan. Tracy, I don't believe, was able to be here this evening, but she is currently a counselor at Cabell Midland High School. She began that role in 2003-2004 school year, and she has 23 years of experience in. Congratulations, Tracy. Up next, we have Diane Clark. She has 14 and a half years as a full-time employee and currently is cook at Explorer Academy. I've got one of these for you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You want to say anything?
Oh, thank you. I'm going to miss it. I love the kids. We had a It's a great school. I'm really going to miss the kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Beverly Eastep. Miss Eastep has 10 and a half years of full-time. She has spent several years as cafeteria manager and currently at Barbersville Middle School. And she's unable, some of them are unable to be here for other reasons. Our next person is here. That's Jackie McCaffrey. She is currently at Cox Landing Elementary as cafeteria manager, having served 30 years in our county. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. You gonna say that?
Thank you all very much.
Oh, that's it? You don't want to talk about how great that is?
Well, Cox Lane's wonderful, yes.
All right, Amy Sackery. Did Amy make it? I was really hoping she would be here. We worked together in high school back in the day. Yes, yes. She has 24 years in and currently is Career Center Secretary. Danny Travis. I was really hoping Danny would be here tonight. Danny has 30 years in and is currently our electrician and foreman. And so we certainly appreciate that as well. Rhonda Woodrum. I knew she wasn't going to be able to be here. 21 years, 10 as cafeteria manager at Altizer. Margaret Carson. $21.5 years full-time and is currently autism mentor at Huntington High School. Thank you so much. Would you like to say a few things?
Thank you for the opportunity. I love the kids, like Mary Jane. It's been an honor. I can write stories about my experiences, and I'm going to miss it. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Last but not least is Karen Schultz, and I don't think Karen's here this evening either. Karen has 18 years with us, so I just want to take a moment and thank everyone again. It's unbelievable the amount of service that people freely give our kids. They are dedicated. You know, I know it's a position that they're paid for. However, a cafeteria manager, they're there at 6 or so in the morning. Oftentimes, if we have to call a 2-hour delay, by the time we call it, they're already at work. Yet they might complain in quiet, but I haven't heard them complain too much. So, but I certainly appreciate all the service that everyone has given our kids and our county and our communities. And thank you all very much for allowing us to do this.
Absolutely. Thank you. He's on it. We'll do some pictures.
You okay? You calm down now? Oh, thank you. Did you calm down now? You calm down, heart's starting to slow down.
Sweets for the sweet and something to brush it down with.
And we'll do one all together, and then I'll pull you guys to hang with me. We'll do one at a time.
Okay, we'll keep moving to our update in instruction and leadership services. Ms. Kelly Watts.
Okay, good evening. I'm Superintendent Hardesty, Board President Mr. Pauley, Ms. Hornbuckle-Myers, board members. This is always a privilege to get to always honor our retirees, and I want to congratulate all of them and thank them for the years of dedication that they give our kids, and they truly do care greatly for them. So my section, I am going to turn it over. We have some celebration to do as we have some of our GROW candidates, which is our alternative certification, that have completed their 2 years of professional development and courses, and I'm going to let Miss Gina Barnett explain to you exactly what they've accomplished as well as introduce them to you.
All right. Good evening, President Pauley, board members, Superintendent Hardesty, and Ms. Hornbuckle-Myers. So I am so excited to recognize our GROW participants today. The Cabell County Schools GROW program, it's an initiative designed to support individuals with four-year degrees who have chosen to pursue education and become educators on an alternative pathway. So this program is designed to address critical staffing needs and in areas of special education, physical education, math, science, art, did I miss one? And math, science, art, phys ed, and special education. So while helping the participants achieve their goals without having that financial burden of having to go back to college. So basically, we are their college. We have developed the program, and they complete the courses through Cabell County Schools. So we have worked very hard at making these courses rigorous, engaging, and relevant to the coursework that they're doing in the classrooms. So this 2-year program, it provides participants with targeted professional development, hands-on classroom experience, weekly visits and personalized support through our teacher induction program, and monthly virtual meetings with our board team. All right, so the GROW program currently has 20 participants, and today we are going to celebrate 6 of them completing. So, as I call their name, I would like for them to come up, and I'll explain the plant in a minute, but I would like for them to come up and get their certificate and their plant and then stay standing. Carol Miles in special education. We're so excited for you. Jessica Cox, art education. Oh, she couldn't make it last minute, sorry. Taylor Ross, special education. Madison Nottingham, art education. And then we had 2 more that couldn't make it tonight. Nikki Downey in physical education. And Jessica Kidd, special education. All right, so I have a message to our GROW participants. So your journey as educators is just beginning, and the skills and the resilience that you've built will touch the lives of countless students. Today, we celebrate your achievements, your dedication, your perseverance, and your commitment to grow. To honor this milestone, we present each of you with a certificate and a plant symbolizing continuous growth. Just as a plant thrives with water, oxygen, and sunlight, your success as educators depends on key elements that we hope that you take with you. Continuous reflection, perseverance, and connection to your purpose, which is keeping the students at the heart of your work. So congratulations on this achievement, and thank you for your dedication to Cabell County Schools. So we actually, one of our GROW participants would like to speak on behalf of the program.
Hello, my name is Taylor Ross. I just wanted to talk about the impact of the GROW program. So, you know, you start, and I started as a long-term sub at Milton Middle, actually, and from there realized how much I loved the kids, I liked the environment, I loved teaching, and through that got connected with the GROW program, which has just been one of the best things that has ever happened. You know, working with Gina, working with Courtney, and even Matt, who was one of my first mentors through the program, I can't say enough about how I felt prepared, how I felt supported, how I felt all of the things that I feel like the GROW program tries to do. I felt like they've accomplished that. My background is in special education, and you know, working with Suzanne and Amanda and even Gina, all of these people, they've really hit all of their bases, and I can't say, you know, enough how much this program has changed my life, and hopefully I can go on and change students' lives. So just wanted to say thank you, and yay, done.
I just want to also thank the Office of Professional Personnel. It begins with them. And as they recognize these students that have a four-year degree that want to go through this process, Debbie Smith immediately starts the conversation, and then we start working through our high critical need area. And so if those areas have been approved by the state board, then we can enter into an agreement with these candidates for the GROW. It is a very rigorous program. We started the program before I got here, and then we rewrote it to really align with Cabell County's mission and vision, and it's really around the support that these teachers receive from our teacher mentors is crucial in growing them. So I want to thank all my mentors, past and present, and of course Miss Barnett for working, but also all departments. Elementary works with them, middle school works with them, high school works with them, special ed works with them. It's a joint division when we all come together, because their success is our success. So that's all that I have.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, we'll have an update in operations and support from Mr. Boggs.
Okay, Board President Polly, board members, superintendent, general counsel. Hope everybody's having a good evening. I do want to say just a couple things about the GROW program. I mean, just all those people and people working with them do a phenomenal job. But it's just, you see somebody like Carol Miles back there that has been an aide in the district, and then went back to school and then switched over into that. It's just she is a phenomenal employee. I got to work with her a lot at Barbersville Middle, but to see her switch from that position and go into a professional position, she's done amazing in both of those. So that's a lot of work to put in for all those Grove candidates that are now successful with that. So I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about our policy updates. Again, this is just second reading and review on termination of administrative and other position contracts. That's the laterality policy that we do anytime we have any position changes or name changes here at the Board of Education or in administrative positions in the district. And then for third reading and possible review and possible approval tonight is the timely payment of insurance premiums. This just updates them to align with PEI on the professional and service side. So on to the next slide. There are three different items that are on the agenda that's kind of related to my division. So the first one is going to be 4.05, and that is Notice of Federal Interest, or NFI, recording for Height Saunders and Nichols Elementary. And what this is federal requirements for reporting on anything that is over $1 million with federal funds, and those are COVID relief funds. And it's a requirement that we have to register those and do all of that. So there was actually a grant from the West Virginia Department of Education that provided us to have the legal fees to cover this. So that is all covered in there. So that is one item up for approval, and those are for Height Saunders and Nichols Elementary. The extensive renovations that we did that finished up last year, that was for those two schools. And new windows, flooring, drop ceiling. They had new HVAC, different things like that. So that covers all of that. Another this quite large item on this agenda is 4.06. That is a low voltage bid. The best way, I'm not a networking expert by any means. However, Mr. Jackson or somebody like Jeremy could speak a little better about that. But what that is up at the Woody Williams Center. That is anything with networking, cameras, as far as intercom, bells, swipe cards, anything it's not end user type stuff. It's the networking that runs the building for all the technology that we do have. So yes, sir, Mr. Hart.
It's also all of the cabling involved in that throughout the building as well. And as you can imagine, there will be miles and miles of cabling through there. So.
And it is a very large building, so that is a large number there. However, we do need that in order to operate a building that is focused around technology. And now we do have two items on here for your approval in there. There was a base bid of that did the basic wiring and different things like that. But then there were also two alternates that do that as well, that were put into that as well. The first alternate was dealing with a integrated intercom system with IP, or an internet-based intercom system, and that one was for about $2,750 as an alternate bid. And then there is an alternate two bid which ran $115,500. And what that did is additional drops. By getting feedback from Mr. Jackson and the technology department, and just the way that things have been running as far as the need for technology in a career center, and looking towards the future, what those additional needs are going to be, it was suggested that we go ahead and add additional drops. Because if you look at like the auto body or auto mechanics, just the number of devices that require internet connectivity and different things like that, if they go ahead and do the drops right now, it's going to be much cheaper to do those additional 150 drops now, rather than, according to Jace or Mr. Jackson, 2 or 3 years down the road, we're going to have to, within 2 years, we're going to go back and have to add these. And you can imagine how much more expensive it would be to add additional drops for additional networking because the walls are closed up. They'd have to run conduit on the outside of the walls. So what this is really doing is while they're doing this is planning for the future of that. So, but that total cost for Dixon Electric is $827,600. That is with the 2 alternates in there as well, the integrated intercom and additional networking drops.
What was the number you said on the second?
The second one is $115,500.
It has 126,000 on here.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I was looking, it's 26. I was reading the other one. Yeah, you're correct, 126,900. And then the alternate one was 2,700.
Okay. Yeah, as far as the alternate number 2, I mean, all you have to do is go into a somewhat older building and see all of the cabling that's run, you know, up on the visible part of the ceiling, or all the conduit that's not inside the walls, and to avoid that, I think will be.
And the way Mr. Jackson explained it is when it does make sense. If they're pulling cable, they're pulling this through. If they do it all at the same time, it's much cheaper to do it all at the same time than running individual cables later on. They can pull actually 50, 60 networking cables at the same time and then be able to disperse those where they go. It's just the price is, you know, 3 or 4-fold down the road when you have to go back. Just it's like an additional renovation, I guess. It's just the networking renovation, I guess, to upgrade it. Then the last item on here is 8.01, and that is discussion and follow-up on surplus and real property appraisals. And I believe that we do have some folks that are here to speak tonight about for additional groups of folks that have interest in some of those properties. Back in the back, if you don't have your folder, I'm more than happy to retrieve that for you. We've got additional copies if you want to see any of those that have the appraisals and everything along with that. So one last item, and is one of the last. We do have one minor change, just a clerical error on 5121-P, and that is the employment of substitute teachers. Under professional personnel, I got to look for the page number here.
10, I think.
Starts on 10.
10? Okay, and the only change that we have on there is the effective date is 1/6/2025 through 5/2/2024. It just simply needs to say May 2nd of 2025. So it's just a strike through, and that is May 2nd of 2025. Any other items or clarification that on any of the items I presented on?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Boggs. All right, 2.04, communications from the superintendent, Mr. Hardesty.
Thank you, President Pauly. I'll be brief. I just wanted to recap some of the ongoing end of semester showcases, presentations, and performances. You'll see a few of them on the screen right now. Fantastic work from our students, staff, the different programs throughout all of our schools. And I just want to say thank you to all of them. Certainly nice to see that being culminated into some activities that showcase their talent. I certainly appreciate that. Coming up tomorrow morning, and that is the reason for some of the changes we've had today. We've had a special meeting this evening to take care of our business this week, and so tomorrow evening's meeting is canceled. But tomorrow morning I'll be in Charleston at the School Building Authority. They have their project selection. I'm not real confident about our ability to get it this time around because we have several counties that have passed bonds and have new construction projects that they're seeking funding for. And so if we're not, we'll certainly submit that in a future SBA grant needs application. Additionally, we have an extension request on the agenda tomorrow for the SBA for the Meadows project. That grant is set to expire at the end of this month. And so what we have done is ask for an extension on that of another year. We should be able to finish that item before the end of the year next year and get all of our invoices canceled out by then as well. End of the semester events and final exams. I know it's been very busy, fun, season so far through our schools. Everyone's packing in their last assignments and their final opportunities before we have a break that starts next week. With that being said, the big thing on the agenda tomorrow is the ribbon cutting and community open house that takes place at the New Milton Elementary School. The ribbon cutting will be at 9 a.m. and certainly hope to see all of you there, although I'll be in Charleston, but I do have some words that Kristen Giles is going to read for me, and I appreciate that. However, I do thank the board for moving our board meeting to tonight to a special meeting so I can join them for the open house tomorrow evening from 4 to 6. And Wednesday, we are having a pup rally at Huntington East Middle School. It's my understanding it's the last pup that's being placed by Kathy Justice, and so that will be from the Friends with Paws. And it's Bear the therapy dog, and he'll be reporting for duty on Wednesday. And so that is Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We have a retirement celebration for our very own Kelly Jordan. That is Friday from 9:30 to 12. And again, any of the board members that can stop by there, I'm sure they would certainly appreciate that as well. She has been a fantastic leader and mentor to many of our staff, our students, and she's really been a friend to all of us. Kelly, I wish you the best. And looking ahead, we have a few other things. December 20th is an early release. December 23rd through January 3rd is our winter break. For students, January 2nd, school-based PD, and January 3rd is countywide PD. And then January 6th will be the first day of school in the second semester. There are 2 items on the agenda that I need to update the board on. And I apologize for this, but on page 6, 4.08, we need to pull that item, 4.08. And the reason for needing to approve the Latin Club trip is you've already approved that. They must really want to go, but it's November the 19th. And so it's already been on a board agenda. There's no need for it to be approved again. And the other one, I haven't done this before, so this is kind of new for me, but on page 10, item 5308 is Village of Barbersville Elementary Principal. And I have a name to insert in there, and I just wanted to let all of you on the board and the public understand why it took so long. As you know, we posted the agenda early last week. By the time I received the information from the selection committee to determine the candidate to put on the agenda, it was later in the week. I had to set up interviews for a couple of people. We had those, I believe, on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. A few more calls today because it's something that's so important to make sure we get the right candidate in the right position for our schools, our students, and our communities, but also for the employees, because our employees give everything they've got every day. And it's important to make sure we get the right person in the right place for all of us, including them. And so I do have a name to provide there, and that name is Nikki Kidder, and she's here this evening as well. So I can either give you that now, or I can give you a recommendation when we get there. And President Pauly, that's all I have. What?
Okay, that takes us to section 2.05, delegations to be heard. Do we have any delegations?
We do. We have 6 this evening. First one is Jonathan Adkins.
That was earlier than I expected. I think some of you guys know me, Mr. Pauly. I had your daughter as a soccer player, as a coach.
Yes.
Me and my wife's a teacher at Culloden Elementary, and you guys have Mr. Shane Evans, the mayor delegate for Milton here. Over the last year, I think I've talked to you guys, extensively about the projects that the current Milton Elementary and what you guys are going to do with that. I'm the president of Oda Milton Youth Football, and I'm here today representing football, basketball, cheer, soccer, pretty much every sport in the city of Milton. We've kind of made that our life the last 10 years, and our goal is to retire from that here soon. With that, we've had a dream of making that a home for our kids. Over the last 30 to 40 years, or maybe even more, I remember playing there, as a young player. It's always been under the control of the county. Our goal as me and my wife have left out of here, is we want to make that a permanent home for those kids and a place that they have that they can call their own. One of the reasons why we haven't made, a lot of monetary improvement over the last year since, we've taken over was because, it's been under county control. We didn't know, it was kind of up in the air whether we were going to build the elementary there or something like that. We discussed even taking over the elementary and building that into a large, sports complex there. City of Milton's, reached out to you guys. They want to turn that into a rec center. Perfect. That aligns with our goals. Our leagues want to support that, both financially and physically. I think that's something that we can do. Our leagues right now in the city of Milton, whether you guys know this or not, we are some of the largest leagues in a 100-mile radius. We have the largest cheer. We've been the first largest in football for a number of years. It's not always been like that, but we're on an upward trajectory. I think that, we're going to continue that success. Same thing with basketball. We're one of the largest around. So I don't want to see this, become a blight on the community. I want to make it better. So after talking with Mr. Evans, they want to turn it into a rec center, the school. Our league would like to take over the actual football field in the complex. We have funding in place now that we can upgrade that complex and make it, a shining example. Some of the items that, we want to do over the next coming year if we were to be awarded that property, and this would be in partnership with Milton. We're going to build a new concession stand with bathrooms. We have that funding in place already. I have architectural plans already drawn up. Me and my wife may even donate some money to that just to help get that over the edge. We're planning as a 48 by 24 concession with bathrooms, and those can be used by the public or anybody there. We've lined up donors and specialists to help with the building of that because we're not bound by the state procurement. Build a new press box there to currently take over the current one that's been there since when I was a young kid. New fencing around the complex, fill all the existing holes. And the last one is there's current. I know you guys had done a brim inspection there a number of years ago. The fall through protection on the bleachers. We have a plan for that in place that we can go ahead and implement in the 2025 season. If we have some type of ownership stake in that. The last one that we want to do is we have a 5-year plan, a financial plan that we've kind of developed to do turf on that field and to turf the complex. That would kind of eliminate a lot of needs for practice. Other people can come in and use that facility if the kids around there want to do that. That's kind of our 5-year plan. Once that plan's set forth at the rec center that they have, the goal with basketball maybe in the future is to have another gym there. Our original plan was to tear down part of that building and put a 100 by 250 foot building there with 3 courts in it. Maybe later on that's something that we do with them. Our goal is to not necessarily make one league responsible for this. We have a consortium that we've developed with those leagues of 501c3 that's currently in process now that we want to make a representative from each league available to that board, and then each league contributes a certain amount of money each year to that infrastructure plan. So that way there's a long-term plan. That way when one of us leaves from a current league, that plan is still in place long-term. So the financial viability, I think, will over long-term, over the next 15 to 20 years, will be an upward trajectory. Our goal is not necessarily, and as I told them, you guys will hear me say this, or hear my wife say this, we don't build athletes. My coaches will hate me for saying this, but I don't care about championships and winning. What we care about is building humans there, good humans. Respect, commitment, and you can attest to that. Our goal is to build these kids and give them the skills and development they're going to need for the future, and I think we've done a good job of that. This is just one more building block in that process. And if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me. I think that, we have a plan. I can provide you a more detailed plan if you want. We can make a picture book or whatever. But I think long-term viability, us taking over the complex there for the football side of it and them taking over as a rec center, I think that's a good partnership and a good way to see a future for Milton. So thank you guys for having me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next is Lori Murray.
Hello, my name's Lori Murray. We've met before. I work for WVA, and Cabell County is one of my counties that I cover. And I'm here to talk to you about PEIA, and what we are asking the board to do is to sign a resolution to urge the state of West Virginia to stabilize PEIA for all public employees, but especially for educators alike, teachers, bus drivers, lunch ladies, custodians, secretaries, board office employees, and various throughout the state. PIA's current plan has them increasing. The average premium would be 14% increase for state employees that are currently working. For our retirees, it would be a 12% increase in premiums, 40% increase in deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums for employees and non-Medicare retirees. There would be also surcharge that would increase over $200 a year. And additionally, there would be an increase in copays for therapy, ER visits, inpatient, outpatient care, and prescriptions. And what we're asking you guys to do is to support your teachers, support your educators across the field. Because, we can't do everything about medical insurance, but we can do some things in our state, and we have the ability to stabilize it. We have a plan. We're just asking our board to support us and to approve the resolution that Superintendent Hardesty has put before you today. So I plead with you, for the sake of our teachers, for the sake of our educators alike, that you approve it and sign it today.
Thank you.
You have my support completely.
And if I could get a picture of that before you all leave, that would be great, along with a copy.
You've got my 100% support on that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Up next is Shane Evans. As Mr. Evans is making his way to the front, I would like to point out that he was also on the agenda today as a resignation. He has many years of service as a bus driver for us. I certainly appreciate that, and I'm hopeful that one day in the near future, when things work out, he will return to us when the opportunity is available. He does a fantastic job, and I appreciate it, Shane.
Thank you, Ms. Hardesty. I really didn't need to come up here because Mr. Atkins said everything that we already agreed on. If we can work together on possibly getting that property there at the elementary and also the football field, I don't think of a better way of something it can be used for. I mean, because the kids really do need the football field, and we really need the rec center for the town of Milton. But also on a different note, I mean, I know you all talked about having the school annexed, the new school. I think we really need to work on that in case y'all need police protection up there. I mean, whether it was annexed or not, they're coming. I'll ask for forgiveness later if they need help. But
we appreciate that.
The old, I mean, the administrators in there now, they're not really. There's no transition period to helping us out. We're going in blind. There's a council member Foster's here. I mean, he's going to be a new one, and we're coming in blind. We're going to try to figure this out as we go. So, but I think going back to the first note, I think it'd be a big help if we could get that property, and would help the town a lot, and we can help you all out a lot too. And if you ever need anything, just give me a call. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Grace Gooding.
Hi, thank you for listening to me. I don't have very much to say. I just want to ask again, could we have transparency? Congratulations to our new school board person. But at some point, can you guys tell us about why you chose that person as opposed to the other people? We're watching you, that's all. Thank you.
Up next is Parker Ward. He slipped in. I didn't see him come in. Hello.
Good evening, Parker Ward. Thank you all for your service, especially the board members and superintendent and general counsel. Hornbuckle Myers, good to see you. I applaud Mr. Atkins' presentation, and I'd like to chat with you after the meeting. Great ideas for what's going to happen with these schools. And so just to give you a little bit of background, I've been in real estate. I was fortunate enough to be asked to a meeting about 6 years ago, and we put together a nonprofit called the Huntington Southside Preservation and Enhancement Alliance, and we're going to identify houses and structures that needed to be saved or torn down. And we were going to try to raise money to help better our community. And once we got into it, we learned that within our first target market, which was in the real estate world, South Side is between the Arch and Hal Greer and 8th Avenue up to the 64. We realized that there's a park, there are bridges, there are historical structures like Huntington High, the old Huntington High on H Street. And there was a lot more that we wanted to get into. So we made some subcommittees, and out of those, we have a bridge committee. We work directly with the park board. We raise money for them. We've raised over $250,000 in funds around the market that we have spent. We identified Huntington High, and we understand how that transferred into the Housing Authority and the YMCA. And running a school is expensive. I mean, you all don't need to be told that. So a couple of the projects that we got involved with was with the bridges that were going to be replaced on 8th and 5th. There was a beautiful plan that was presented, and then it was changed up in Charleston. They were just going to make a bridge with guardrails, and we said, can't do that. We got to go back to the original plan. We even found pictures of when there were lights on the bridges back in the 60s. Those were things that we were able to do. We also just finished the Woody Williams Gold Star Memorial down by the Arch, which has been a huge hit. So it brings me back to the schools and Huntington High. We're working with Huntington High, the Housing Authority, and the contractor now to try to figure out what to do with it. It could use a couple of $1 million easily in a roof and exterior work that needs to be done. So it brought me to the question of what's going to happen with Meadows, what's going to happen with Highline, what's going to happen out in Milton and around the market. So a couple weeks ago, I was at a prayer breakfast and ran into some of the folks here with the school board, and Ashley and I were talking, and I said, what's going to happen with these schools? And she goes, well, I got just the guy that I think that can help you. So I said, Justin, tell me what the rules are. And he said, okay, I'll send you the rules. And I've got the rules. And, you know, you all can give these away to the proper nonprofit, which I think you might have found one, if they're funded properly. Sometimes giving them away to entities, even with cash, that can pay you, maybe won't work out. And in the rules is that if it doesn't work out within 5 years, you can take it back. That's in there. But also the first thing it says is be sold at public auction. And sometimes you don't have control of what's going to happen at a public auction. You might get some dollars, but it might not be the best thing for the community. But further down into number 3 is economic development. Economic development, I would say the project that was just presented out in Milton is great economic development because of the growth of that area of the market. But when you look at economic development and how 2 locations like Highline and Meadows and possibly some others, I would look at who is the best at economic development in our market. And I would have to say been reading the rules and trying to stay within the guidelines of what you all are going to be deciding on is the Huntington Municipal Development Authority. And the Huntington Municipal Development Authority has many projects that they are currently working on, but many projects that people don't even know that they're involved with. Kinetic Park is a perfect example. Maybe took a few more years than we might have liked, but look at it now. It's thriving. The area that was going to be the first location for the baseball field was totally a Huntington Municipal Development Authority project on 5th Avenue and 24th Street. Now that's going to be repurposed. And if you watch the news a couple weeks ago, 100,000 square foot structure of different retail, restaurants, et cetera, with the ball field being moved over to the former ACF property. Who is managing the ACF property? Huntington Municipal Development Authority. Their executive director is here tonight, and I believe she's going to speak after I'm finished. But you have some schools around the market. I don't have to tell you, somebody needs to come into some funds to help the West End and the Housing Authority with West Junior High. Unfortunately, that has fallen under some bad times. It needs to come down and possibly be a park like the Miller Elementary location is. That would help that area of the community, I feel, very, very well. But I think that the opportunities for the Municipal Development Authority to sit down with you and say, hey, yes, we see the need. We can turn it into economic development that is going to be paying jobs and putting that money back in the community. And I just hope that that can be a consideration. And I just wanted to go through the proper steps. And I thank you very much for sending me the rules. And thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy Burns.
Hi, members. Kathy Burns. I am the director of the Huntington Municipal Development Authority. Thank you, Parker, for the great lead-in. That was not planned, I assure you. I am here today both representing our current mayor of the city of Huntington, Mayor Williams, and also Mayor-elect Patrick Farrell. So I have been in conversations with both of them. Neighborhood schools are vital to the stability of our community. And I guess I'm here today to say that we are very much interested in how particularly Meadows Elementary and Highlawn Elementary, which are located inside the city limits, will be repurposed. And I am here today to state that the Development Authority is very much interested in working with the school board if given that opportunity. As Parker mentioned, we are the developer of Kinetic Park. We only have one parcel left remaining. So in excess of 15 businesses located there and in excess of $20 million that are back on the tax rolls. That was a greenfield that you'll remember. That was a parcel of land that used to be owned by the school board. It was the original site of where Huntington High was to be. That property was donated to the city, and then we were in turn have since developed that. We also have experience in developing brownfields. So the former American Car Foundry site, 42 acres. So where the baseball stadium is located at Marshall University was a 5-acre parcel that we did in turn sell to the university so that they could build that baseball stadium. And so we have a balance of about 30 acres of land, and so we are currently in active negotiations with several developers for the repurposing of that property. We've invested millions of dollars both in the Highlawn community as well as where Meadows, which is south side, as well as the Fairfield community. And so we have invested in roadways with improvements to Halbert Boulevard. That was a multi-million-dollar improvement, improved lighting, safety features. That is where our School of Medicine, our School of Pharmacy, and certainly our healthcare is located, as well as a community center. So it is a roadway that has multiple uses and needed to be designed in a way to accommodate for that. So I share all that to say we feel like we do have the capacity, we have the interest. If a private developer can do it, we will happily step aside. We don't want to step in when a private developer can do something. However, with that said, there have been cases where it's been done correctly, and there have been cases where it has not been done correctly. And we can all point to those schools that have been repurposed and are thriving in those neighborhoods and locations where it has not worked. And so we're just happy to step in and help be a part of that conversation. We would love to be able to partner and do some feasibility studies for those locations and come up with maybe some financing options and a feasibility study of how maybe the best use would be, the highest and best use. So thank you for the opportunity here this evening, and we hope to have an opportunity to work with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President Polly, that concludes delegations.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hardesty. We'll move on to section 3, board member comments. Do we have any board member comments at this time? Nope, nope.
It would be, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So we did appoint a new member to the school board this evening, and we do need to take care of the business of trying to determine the best time to swear in Mr. Abess. And so, Mr. Hardesty, I don't know if you have any recommendations. I believe appointing Mr. Abess satisfies what we are required to do. Our swearing in of him can be after the 45-day window.
It's my understanding that there's actually 2 different ways we could do that. But yes, your appointment, I was told by an attorney that that fulfills that obligation. But we could do an official ceremony where he's given the oath, he signs the oath, it's notarized, and then we could have a ceremonial swearing in at a board meeting, whether that be a special board meeting or the next public board meeting, however you'd like to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has any ideas, but I personally would support if we want to do a ceremonial swearing in at a different time, and then at our first board meeting in January, we could do the public.
Sure.
That way we don't have to try to schedule a special meeting during this busy time of year.
Then if it's okay with the board, I'll work with Mr. Abess to make sure that that gets taken care of prior to the holidays.
I would recommend that we do it on the first meeting of January.
Okay,
Good with that?
perfect.
All right. Any other comments or workshop requests at this time? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We've heard some information about some of what's on that. We do have a third reading policy update, so that'll be for approval on the insurance premium, timely payments. We have another interagency agreement. We've had several of those over the last several meetings. The items that Mr. Boggs spoke about. We have letters, volumes 1 and 2, which is funded through the Third Grade Success Act grant. We did remove 4.08, and then we have the cheer team trip for Cabell Midland. So we can have some discussion about any of that, or we can move to 4.11, approval of the consent agenda.
Make the motion that we approve the consent agenda in its entirety.
Second.
Okay, with a noted change on 4.08. Okay, so the motion is for approval of the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? No. Motion passes. We'll move right along to the financial section, treasurer's report, Mr. Rodkin.
Well, good evening, board members. Good to see everybody. Just a couple of items on the finance part of the agenda this evening. We've got the November treasurer's report and the November vouchers payable. A couple quick updates. Last week, we had our annual on-site audit. So we had them stop by and review records. Preliminary report looks good. We're very encouraged by the on-site results, but the official report won't be out until near the end of January. Once we do get that official report, I'll definitely report out to you guys. But so far, that was had a pretty positive indication from whenever they were leaving. Also, sometime this week, could be tomorrow, could be any day this week, we should get our preliminary comps for next school year. And so I will have kind of a full detailed breakdown of those with you at the work session on January 6th. Once we get those information, I'll start breaking them down and trying to see, what they are projecting our revenue to look like for next school year. It's always contingent upon the legislative session, but, I'll be able to give you at least where we sit at that work session in January. That being said, usually it's this time of year we are starting to look ahead to the legislative session, but just want to remind the board that because there was a governor election this time around, legislative session starts a month later than normal, so it actually doesn't start until February 12th. So, as I present things here in just a few weeks to you all, just keep in mind we're not immediately jumping into the session like we normally would. We'll have a little bit of a gap in between when we get our initial numbers and when the session actually takes place. And just one last thing to update you guys on. It's anticipated that on Wednesday the federal funds rate is going to drop another 0.25%. That would bring it down to a target range of 4.25 to 4.5, which, if that is happening, I checked the I think it's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange has odds on there. There's a 99% chance this is going to happen. So at this point, it's considered a certainty. That actually puts all of those CDs that we bought a while back in a really, really good spot. So I think that was a very wise move that you all had by moving forward on those CDs. Our rate is going to remain high for the foreseeable future. So that was a good move. We're definitely going to come out ahead on that based on where the market is trending. Do you all have any questions for me this evening on either the report or the vouchers payable?
They're not.
All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Rockin. And thank you for your recommendation to move with those CDs at the time we did, and glad to hear that's going to work out in our favor. All right. We need a motion for approval of the financial section.
I move that we approve the treasurer's report.
Second?
Okay. All in favor for approval of the financial section signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, that takes us to Section 6, Personnel. We have quite a bit on the personnel section, employments and resignations for various reasons. We do have an administrative leave on 6.03. If there's a need to discuss that, we can discuss that in an executive session. Or we can approve. Since he gave the name, we can just presume that it's on there. Since he gave the name for the appointment for the Village of Barbersville, do we have to do anything separate? We're good.
No, the name for 6116 P, job number 5308 would be Nikki Kidder.
Okay.
Is it Diane Nikki Kidder?
Diana Kidder, but I go by Nikki.
I know it's Nikki, sorry.
That's on page 10. So we have, basically we have two options right now, and that is to approve the entire personnel section, or if there's any desire for discussion on 6.03, we can go into executive session for a discussion on that.
No, I don't have a need to.
President Polly, just for a matter of clarification, the name would have to be said on 6.03.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So if no one needs any discussion on 6.03, I would just make a motion that we would approve the personnel section.
I'll second.
Okay. We do that after we approve it?
Huh?
After? No, before?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. We'll wait just a second on that motion. We need to, 6.03 is dealing with administrative leave of a professional personnel. Mr. Hardesty.
Yes, I recommend that the board ratify the administrative leave of Betty Chapman with pay that began October 31st, 2024, and continue until a resolution is reached.
Okay, having that noted, now I will make a motion that we approve the personnel section as presented.
Second.
And Ms. Smalley will second. All in favor of approval of the personnel section signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No, the motion passes. And
Well, it is my honor to have Diane Nikki Kidders. Please stand. Congratulations and welcome as principal of Village of Barbersville. Thank you very much. And I will tell you that the lady sitting there on your right has done an amazing job for several years. And the gentleman on her right is also there and does an amazing job. So it's been a great team at Village of Barbersville, and we certainly expect that to continue.
absolutely, Village of Barbersville is an excellent school. Appreciate all that you all do for the students there, including my own.
So, Ms. Kidder, would you like to introduce who's with you there? Sure.
Absolutely.
Well, beside me was my husband, Corey Kidder, and then Mrs. Jordan, my mentor, and then Mr. Hicks, our other assistant principal. And we make a fabulous team at Village of Barbersville. And I am honored and still a little in shock because it happened today. But anyone that knows me knows that I will give you 200%. I was made for a place like Village, and I am excited for this journey. And I have a very funny story to share with Mr. Pauly. As he said, his son goes to Village, and at the end of the day, he asked me, he's one of our safety patrols, and he asked me, do you know when the final interviews are? I would like to ask my dad who got the job.
He has asked me several times as well, who is going to be the new principal? And I said, buddy, that's not for you to know right now.
And then I was like, well, it's on tonight's meeting, so Dad will be able to talk about it later. And then he looked later, and Miss Jordan was right there too. He looked and said, are you okay? I think he was worried about me. So he's wonderful, but I'm thrilled and excited for this opportunity.
All right.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Thank you. And thank you for everyone here. I say multiple times, and I said in the interview process, without Keith Thomas and Heather Scarberry and Kristen Giles as well, I wouldn't be here today. So I want to thank them, my husband, Kelly, and Matt, and just everyone here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move right along to Section 7, special board items. We have 7.01 is the change in the date and time of the January 30th LSIC meeting.
Yes, we're going to allow Ms. Watts to give a brief update on that.
Okay, it's one of those things that you check and you double check, and then all of a sudden you get a text message on a Sunday night saying, we have a problem. So it was a good problem in one way because it was the fact that there are 3 different basketball games going on at Huntington High on January 30th. So they did clear February 3rd that we could have the area hallway outside of the gymnasium, and it seems to work for everybody else as well. So we'd like to change that date from January 3rd to February 3rd for the the LSIC and the art show. The art show, like the night on Fifth, but we're having Night on the Hill.
I have no issue with us changing that date at all.
Now, should that start at 4:30 then? Is the art show first?
So the art show's at first. What do we have on there? I think it actually is going from 4 to 6, and then the LSIC
6:15.
Full 6:15. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll probably be better to do them separately.
Yeah. Okay. So that is 7.01, the time change and the date change for LSIC meeting from January 30th to February 3rd. Need a motion for approval of that item.
So moved.
We had a motion. And seconded by Ms. Smalley. All in favor of approval of 7.01 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No, that passes. Let's go to 7.02, which is the resolution urging the state of West Virginia to stabilize PEI that Ms. Murray spoke to us about in delegations. And I believe we're all on the same page in supporting our teachers and our service personnel and working towards a resolution for PEI. So I would make a motion that we approve 7.02, resolution urging the state of West Virginia to stabilize PEIA.
Well, as a 40-year member of WVEA, I support that and second that.
Okay, we've had the motion and the second. All in favor of supporting that resolution signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, the motion passes.
President Pauley, I'd like to get your all signatures as soon as we finish here this evening.
Absolutely.
And for those that may wonder what that resolution says, it's actually under public information on our agenda this evening. So if they visit Cabell County Schools, look at the agenda, it's there.
Okay. All right, that takes us to the next part of Section 7, which is we have several student expulsions to consider at this time. I would move that we would go into executive session to discuss the expulsions that are on the agenda tonight.
So moved.
I move. You want a second?
Second.
Second. All right. So the motion is to go into executive session for discussion of student discipline. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. We are in executive session.
United Way.
And it starts at 11 o'clock.
Bake sale, 11:30.
All right.
So we have that. I'm ready.
Ready to roll, ready to roll. Goodness. Need a motion to return to open session.
So moved.
Ms. Neely has made the motion. Ms. Smalley has seconded. All in favor of returning to open session signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. I'm going to make a motion that we table the expulsions, which are 7.03 through 7.11 until our first meeting in January.
I second.
Okay. All in favor of tabling those expulsions signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay. We'll go to 8.01, discussion, follow-up on surplus real property and appraisals. Do you have anything you want to share? Or?
I do. I know at a previous board meeting, it was requested that we have another overview of how we dispose of surplus property. And so I'll let you talk and I'll pass them out, or actually pass them out. I think you stay here. If you could take one and pass it down. And so Ms. Hornbuckle Myers has just a one-page sheet of what that actually looks like and how that works. And she's just going to do a brief overview of that.
Thank you. President Pauly, board members, Superintendent Hardesty. I have this property disposal guidance for you all. First of all, it talks about the two types of property. Those are covered under our board policy. 7300 discusses real property, and 7310 discusses our personal property and what personal property is. It quickly talks about the three ways in which it can be disposed, one of which is at public auction. One is under West Virginia Code 1857, and that you can convey the property to a state or political subdivision, the United States of America, or a private, nonprofit, tax-exempt 501c3. The third way is a lease. It would be leased to the highest bidder, and then the lease would have to be in writing. All liabilities under these, it's either on the purchaser or the lessee. They'll assume all liabilities of the property. And then the asterisk down there is the property reverts back to the board if the organization, if we would go the 1857 route and convey it to one of those three corporate entities, it reverts back to the board if the organization dissolves or ceases to use that property for the intended purpose within the first 5 years of such conveyance. So if you all would convey it to someone and they don't do what they're supposed to do or say they're going to do, and it would revert back to the board and we could go one of these three routes again with the property that we have. So I hope that answers any questions that you all have. Okay.
Yeah, I guess we would just, if we went through 1857, we just need to make sure we had pretty good language.
And we've also discussed other language, if you all approve, that we put in there about whom it can go to, what it could be used for.
Okay.
So I have a question. What if the intended purpose is done, but then they relapse, and it doesn't continue in that vein?
Well, it's after 5 years, we don't have any control over that.
After 5 years, no
Yes.
control.
So within that first 5 years, if they don't use it for their intended purpose, then it goes back to us. But if they're using it, you're saying for the first 6 years, 6.5 years.
Two. Let's say they do it for the first two,
Well,
and
then
then
it
they don't.
well,
Then
then
it
it
will
reverts
go
back.
back to us.
We have up to 5
After
years.
5, no.
So if it's 6, if they stop at 6 or 6.5 and they start using it for, something, not what they said they were going to use it for, then there's nothing we can do because they did what they said they were going to do for the first 5 years of the.
Is the 5 years in state code, is that where that comes from, or is that a board policy?
Yeah, that comes under the 1857.
That's part of
yes.
that, okay.
So if they did it for 5 years and then somebody decides to sell it, they can?
If they've done what they were supposed to do for the 5 years, yes, ma'am.
I think there's a couple of important things that we need to think about as we move forward. One is we wouldn't want an entity to take the property and then start competition against our school system. So I think that's one thing. And I think that if you look at some of the legislative action that was proposed last year, I think that will probably return. It didn't pass last year, but I suspect that will return this year, and if not successful, probably continue for a while. I think it would be something that we would need to put in as a stipulation of condition of sale or donation or however we decide to do it, to make sure that the property is utilized in a way that, one, benefits the community, but two, doesn't harm the school system.
I would agree. Any other questions or comments or discussion on 8.01 about our surplus property? Okay.
President Polly, I think at some point in the near future, when the board is ready to explore a little further, I think we may need to, you all give me some clarity when you're ready for me to put a motion on the agenda. And as Mr. Watkins said earlier, the legislative session will begin in February this year. And I suspect we'll have a lot of bills that will be introduced really quickly and move very swiftly through both houses. And as you know, there's a super majority there this year and both sides. And so I think it would be, I think we would be probably much better off if we didn't make a decision based on what's best for Cabell County schools and Cabell County in general, instead of a state policy or state code dictating what we have to do.
And can I go back over this, that 2A, state of political subdivision? So that's like giving it to the city of Huntington.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, Cabell County Schools is technically a political subdivision, but yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Right. Okay. That's it.
Okay. Anything further at this time on 8.01? Okay. We'll move 8.02. Do we have any updates on legal issues at this time?
No. Sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
President.
And that will take us to 9, adjournment. I just need a motion to adjourn. Ms. Neely has made the motion to adjourn. Second. And Ms. Smalley has seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned at 6:28 p.m. Thank you.